Yo guys, how's it going? MadGaz here, and for today's video, I'm giving you some information regarding the new DLC 3, which will be coming to PlayStation 4 pretty soon. So you're probably wondering, what dates are these and how do we know this? Well, going through some timelines and looking at the release dates of the DLC packs consecutively for each consoles, I've devised this diagram. So on screen you can see that I've got up the different release dates that we already have and already know about certain DLCs, Awakening and Eclipse. Now I've just left out the PC version because PC is similar to Xbox One on their release date, so I've just used the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I've excluded the last gen versions, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, because they're irrelevant to the release dates of what's happening on the current gen. So kick off things first. The Awakening DLC released on PlayStation 4 on February 2nd, 2016, and that was a Tuesday. And then 4 weeks later, on the Thursday, March the 3rd, was the Xbox One release of the Awakening DLC. Now there's a massive gap in between this before we got the Eclipse DLC, and that was possibly due to the fact that it released the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions, but I don't believe that was the case of why the massive gap in this. So the gap between the Xbox One version of the Awakening DLC until we got DLC 2 on PlayStation 4 was 6 weeks and 5 days, and that came on April 19th, 2016, which was also a Tuesday. So the release dates are coming on Tuesdays for PlayStation and a Thursday for Xbox One. Now, yesterday we got the release date for the Eclipse DLC on Xbox One, and this is May 19th. And that, like, once again, same as before, was 4 weeks plus a couple of days to bring it to the Thursday, which is May 19th. And that is when we are getting the Eclipse DLC for Xbox One. Now, for DLC 3, we don't know any kind of time frame of what they're going to do with this, because they've said they're not going to give us Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 versions of the Eclipse DLC, but they could change their mind on that. They said they weren't going to give us the Awakening DLC, and they did. So going off the time frame of the 6 weeks and 5 days gap from the Awakening DLC to the Eclipse DLC, so we have the Xbox One May 19th, that is the Eclipse DLC, comes out on the Thursday. If we say 6 weeks and 5 days, the same time span from the Awakening to the Eclipse DLC, we should receive DLC 3 on the PlayStation 4 July 5th, 2016 on a Tuesday. Now you're thinking, hell, that's a long way away, but really it's the same at the time as what we got from the Awakening to the Eclipse DLC, and a month later we will receive the Xbox One version, which is on August the 4th, which is also a Thursday, which coincides with the previous releases. Now, like I said, 6 weeks and 5 days is a great gap that we've got to wait. So July the 5th is quite a way away now, but we're getting Eclipse DLC next week for the Xbox One. So then 6 weeks later, plus 5 days, we will get DLC 3. That is if they follow this train of pattern. A lot of people have said that after they released the first 2 DLC packs, they closed the time frame on when they will release the next ones to squeeze in more for that fiscal year for their Call of Duty franchise. So going off that idea, I've devised another plan at the bottom there, which is the 4 weeks and 5 days gap, which will take it to June the 21st, which is more of a reasonable idea of when we will get DLC 3. So for the PlayStation 4, we will get it on June the 21st, which is a Tuesday, and then Xbox, we'll get it a month later, which is July the 21st, which is on a Thursday once again. So these 4 dates from the 6 weeks and 5 day period or the 4 weeks and 5 day period could both be what we may receive the DLC 3 actual release date on. I don't think it's going to release any earlier than a 4 week 5 day period, but we never know. Treyarch and Activision could sneakily put it out in a 3 week and 5 day period. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to do that, but it could happen. I don't think it will. So these are the times that I think, going from what we have with the Awakening DLC to the Eclipse DLC, was a 6 week 5 day wait before we got the next DLC. So I've added that in, obviously, so we may get it on that time frame, or we may get it on the 4 week time frame. So those are the 2 main areas you want to be looking out for, guys, on your calendar month for when we're going to receive DLC 3. I honestly think we'll probably receive this on the 4 week and 5 day one, but if they like to carry on their trend of doing it like exact amount of time frame distance, then we will receive it on the 6 day and 5 day one. So there you go. Hope you did understand all that. Hope it wasn't too confusing for you guys. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Comment down below what you think about this. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and continue to dropkick your grandma.